you there? Listening to my little prayer, I don't know exactly what to say. I've been told that you love me. Hear me when I call, would help me if I fall. I should let you have your way. What I guess I'm trying to say is I need you in my life. 'Cause I know I'm tired of living in the past. I would like to take a chance on a change on deep inside. Angel number. I believe that this is one that's gonna last. So here is my heart. It's been broken, it's been wounded, but I'll give it all to you. If you allow me, you can have it. I will give it all to you because you love me. You know everything I true. I'm here through your worries, through your fears. I've been waiting for you to call my name. Oh, you know that I hear you. If you turn to me and trust my word is true, you will never be the same. Well, I'm standing here to say that you need me in your life. 'Cause I know that you can't make it on your own. If you would take a chance, if you change it deep inside, I promise you will never be alone. So here it's been broken, oh, it's been broken, but I'll give it all to you. It wouldn't love me, if you only can take it. My love is understanding. You turn to me and know that I am all standing by. I give it all for you, so you could have this gentle peace inside. I will follow you, 'cause I believe in everything you are. I am your father, you are my savior, and in the matters of your heart. What it do, what it do? It's your girl Majestic. I am loving life and I'm living life, also known as Spiritual 12. I'm loving life and I'm living life to the fullest. Life is rewarding. Life is balance. Life is love. Life is, it's positive. It's negative. Life is duality. Life is masculine. Life is femininity. Life is just life. And so today I have to here because I wanted to express and explain masculine and feminine. Okay? These are the two polar duality opposites that create, all right? And it depends on what kind of masculine and feminine are you operating in. There is a positive feminine, which I believe is Bina. If we're going by the clip off, there's a positive feminine, which is Bina, and there is a negative feminine, which is Satariel. Now, I want to explain the two differences because they both live in two different worlds, okay? In this society, they really do shun the Bina. And I'm not even kidding. The divine feminine is shunned to no ending in this society. Now, just like in the clip off, there is a positive feminine, there's a negative feminine, there's also a positive masculine and a negative masculine. And I can't remember the names completely. Um, I do have a paper with their names on it. Let me check. Okay, so the positive masculine is Koshma, and the negative masculine is Gagiel. Okay, and so in this reality that we currently reside in, all they worry about is the two lower frequencies, the two lower masculine and feminine. Okay, Satariel and Gagiel is the creation of this reality, and Satariel and Gagiel only destroys. Okay, these are the people that we are holding up in high places. Um, Gagiel is a mason. That's all I can really claim him to be, is a mason. And Gagiel hates Bina with a passion. Okay, Gagiel has to pretend to be Bina, and so if he's pretending to be Bina, then he's going to do everything he can to keep Bina down. He is already obsessed with Bina, but because of his lack of confidence, because of his lack in insecurities, he knows that he can never reach Bina. And the only thing he can do is compete with Bina. The only thing he can do is try to destroy her by ruining her life. Okay? I've been a part of a cult for a while that I had no idea I was a part of. All right? I had no idea, but I've been a part of it since I was a baby. A baby. They knew who I was when I was born, okay? And I don't know if I hear a lot of terrorists talking about this right now, and I believe they're talking about me. I really do. This because I am the living word. And it's on so many levels that everybody can relate. But in my life, it's what I live. Okay? Everybody can relate in their life like here and there. But for me, because I am the living word, it's what I live. All right? And so they've been, you know, trying to come after me since I was a baby because I carry a light and I know my light. I'm very connected to the Most High, our Creator. And I've always known my light. I've always seen through experiences, what I am capable of. And it's sad because I didn't realize, the severity of what I was until the Masons started attacking me. That's when I started to realize how important I really was. I didn't even realize I bet I would have realized it had they not attacked me. And that's what all this is like uncalled for. Because honestly, you put someone through hell and they still find the answer. And it's like, what was all that for? They'll say, like Masons will say, like, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't know how powerful you are. And the problem is that yes, we would have. We had to take the hard route. We had to take the crazy route for whatever reason. I guess to wake him up, help him wake up, because he's so in denial about the power of femininity. He knows that it has a power, and but he believes that his warlock and witchcraft is more powerful than her, and it's false. And in these times, he is beginning to see how much false this was and how all this was uncalled for. All of it. Um, so femininity is it is our creative abilities. It is our, our wisdom, our psychic abilities. It is what is within. Okay, that's what femininity is. A lot of women are in their masculinity. The way I like to put it, I don't know if you can see this. There we go. So I like to put it, the XX is for femininity and the XY is masculinity. Now, the XX is femininity. Scientists have discovered, okay, everybody and their mama, especially if you're spiritual like me, you have discovered that XX is the most powerful species on the planet, okay? This is feminine, not masculine, all right? The Masons and masculine energy on our planet pretends to be this. This is why they want women to chase them. Everything that we are, men pretend to be. Okay? Um, this is the most powerful species on the entire planet is the XX, especially if you're melanated like me. We are the key, okay? We are the key. Just like your hypocritical Bibles, they say the first shall be last and the last shall be first. Um, yeah, this applies because the women are, put in oppression. The women are put, submission and things like that. And the Bible actually talks about how the first shall be last and the last shall be first. All right. And so, honestly and scientifically, the XX is the strongest species on the planet. Now, the XY, and I have a book that talks about XY, okay, and how they are very, very limited in their being. They're very, very limited in understanding or intelligence. They do not have what the XX has. I have a book about that if I can find it. It's called Why. And it's a man wrote it. It's a male author, and he even debunks his own species because honestly, like he talks about how you know the XY is a malfunction actually. How like this world started with femininity. This is a water planet. Okay, the majority is water. Water is femininity. Water is spirit. Water is wisdom. Water is of those natures, those internal natures. Okay. And it's the element of those internal natures. Water is the element of, you know, just like Bruce Lee says, be like water, my friend. Okay? Water is that main direct element that pulls you straight to source. And that represents femininity. Okay? Um, and some people like to believe like water also can represent the black nation or the African nation because it does. And like Chinese represent air. Um white people represent, I believe it's fire. And so on. And so we have to understand like how these elements really play a part in our existence, and a lot of people rather go with beliefs than what's right in your face 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I want to explain how masculinity has a role and so does femininity, but in today's time these roles are swapped. These roles are completely swapped. And this is and I'm going to explain why they swapped our roles, because a lot of women are okay with being submissive. That's why they took your fathers away from you. That's why they trained us through generations to be okay with switching roles. If you don't have a father, you're going to, be very promiscuous, and you're going to want like a man very, very bad. And so this automatically trains you into feeling like the man, even though, not even realizing that this man is horseshit because he left you and your mother. But it sets you up to desire him more if you're not careful. If you're not seeing it for what it is, it will set you up to desire masculinity more just because you don't have a father. When you should be looking at the real thing. This man was a piece of shit. So I need to be careful of men. I need to like understand that a lot of them don't have my best interests. Okay, not, I can get daddy love from, you know, a guy that I like. Not, we have to really, really, really be careful out here because these Masons have so many plots and schemes so that their world can be the most powerful, their world can run. And when I say their world, I am talking about the current state of this world. Okay? There's a reason we're living in hypocrisy like this. And I explained in one of my other videos how a lot of it has to do with how they swindled Cleopatra, and how, they destroyed that legacy of femininity. Um and if you don't know, go back and watch my video about Cleopatra. But they wanted this world, and this is like the Masons origin. The Masons we see today. There was a time where Masons were, on the right side and on the evolutionary side. But we're not there anymore. Now their goal is to, you know, siphon energy, because they're not there. They never were there unless they were living through the truth, unless they were living for evolutionary purposes. And when they live for evolutionary purposes, they are more of the coachman. That's the divine masculine. That's the Tartarian masculine. Because the divine masculine works side by side with the divine feminine. Okay? But so Koshma works side by side with Bina. But the lower masculine hates the divine feminine. Okay? It just hates it with the passion. And same with Satariel. She hates Coachman. She hates the divine masculine. Okay? And so a lot of times they use their energies, their lower, slimy negative energies, like their trash can energies, to manipulate Bina or manipulate Coachman. Okay? That's a lot of what Masons and Eastern Stars do. They use their words to manipulate, especially when they are in the presence of a chosen one. Especially when they are in the presence, they feel like your energy is mine. Your energy belongs to me. Okay? As if I know how to swindle you, then your energy is mine. And their whole reason for thinking that your energy is theirs is because they lack. They completely 100% lack. They have no energy of their own. And this is the world we live in, that the people and the celebrities who do not have talent, they don't have their own, they don't have talent. They are swindled out. They are swindlers. They swindle those like I with actual talent. And they leave us drained. And this is because we actually do what it takes to embody the stardom energy. We know how to thank our creator when we wake up. We do the work. We know how to say no when the rest of the crowd is like, oh yeah, let's all go this way. Those motherfuckers don't know how to say no. They don't know how to stand up for themselves. They don't know how to give thanks to our creator. But so they want to take the easy road out and take what you got when you're not looking. And then they can pretend that, they were the one giving thanks. They were the one who said no in the, in the sight of adversary. When they're not, they're too weak to do those things. They're too weak to say no. They follow the crowd like it ain't nobody business. They want to keep up with the crowd. They want to keep up with the Joneses like it ain't nobody business. And then they want to, they want to play both, and you just can't. And that's why in this time the truth is coming out, because you just can't. You just can't. And so, I really just wanted to explain that, the masculinity can be positive masculine or negative masculine. Okay? I believe that the God of the Bible is of the negative masculine. You can fight me, you can say whatever you want, but the God of the Bible is of the Masonics. And truly, we have to understand that the way our minds work is our creator. Our creator is right here within us. Okay? And so the way our minds work, the femininity is that silence. It's that void. It's like zero, the number zero. And it is that silence, it is that void. It is our right brain. And it creates and develops, it receives information. Okay? And then it's sent to our masculine brain to develop that information, to create it, to be able to project it in a way of manifestation. Okay, just like the Bible say, in the beginning there was silence and then the word. That's masculine and feminine. Silence and then the word. Okay? And so the masculinity want to pretend that they are the silence in this time. The Masons want to pretend that they are the silence. And we as women, we need to claim our positions and stop giving it away. We need to claim what we are. We have the most important position on this planet. We have the most important. And the man right now, the Masons are walking in it. This is what they're so afraid of, FYI, because a lot of people are talking about the Masons, A lot of people are talking about it, and I love this because I've been talking about it for years and nobody listened. And now they're just regurgitating everything that I taught. This is how I know I am the trine. I'm the trine because I'm the one that opened the seal to this information. Believe it or not, it's happening anyways. And I'm going to open more information pretty soon. And then the world is going to be following that. It's a lot of things that I have done, and I'm not here to brag or anything, but I do need people to understand who I am. Because there's so many things that I have done that it's like the Bible said, like Jesus was going to open the seals. And so I do need people to understand, because it's like whatever I do, the world does it after me. This is how I know who I am. Not to mention the way the Masons, are on my ass. Not to mention all the things they do, coming, to my window at night, trying to mess with my chakras. Doing things when I go in public, following me, going to wherever I'm going. They know where I'm going. People walking right in front of my house, just doing circles in my yard. Weird stuff too. They do this because of the fact that they lack. And they need to siphon energy to pretend in front of the rest of the world like they are me. I used to really get offended, but I'm not anymore. Because what's the point? I'm not offended. It don't work. Um, I'm really flattered actually. I'm actually flattered because like they keep proving to me who I am through all of this madness. And I would have found out the right way, the normal way. I would have found out, but see, a lot of women don't get to find out this way. I'm one in a million because I survived this. A lot of women don't survive this type of stuff. They blame themselves. They think it's them. Why can't I work? Why can't I, make friends? They think it's them. But I always knew, thanks to this, I always knew that somebody's manipulating my reality. Somebody's talking to every guy I talk to, trying to get him to hate me. I'm understand. I saw it. I see it. Some guys, even before, even when I saw it, some guys have told me that that's exactly what's happening. They've been asked to set me up. They've been asked to do this, do that. My own, child's father is really heavy in that. He's very, very heavy in the Masonic group. And I knew when I'm not gonna go into detail, but like they always didn't know that I knew, but I always knew. I always knew who they were. And I'm lucky to have survived this. He said a lot of bad things to me that was meant to break me and destroy me. He's done a lot of bad things to me. In the midst of my glory, he set me up to go to jail. And I had done not one thing wrong. He said things that were meant to, veer my mentality into self hate. And I broke out of all those things. I should not even be alive right now. I should be very depressed. I should be down. I should they were trying to make me commit the ultimate. And spirit just kept on putting me above all of them like it wasn't nothing. And they're still mad. They're still trying, but now they're losing big time. Big time. Cause I'm onto them like white on rice. They thought they were onto me and I'm onto them. This is how the tables turn. This is what your Bible said will happen. And this is ultimately about masculine and feminine. God and Satan, they're disguised as masculine and feminine. You guys have to understand why, even the terrorists, why are you guys talking about masculine and feminine, Masons versus divine feminine so much? All the terrorists, that's all they're talking about. The Masons and this divine feminine. They're talking about me, but the Masons and this divine feminine, why do you think that's all they're talking about? Because the Bible says that this was going to happen, but the Bible disguised it because the Masons they run the Bible. They're the pastors of your churches. So they disguised it. But they know what's going on, and I know what's going on. The disguising is the masculine and feminine. The disguising of God and Satan is the masculine and feminine. And the truth is that the feminine is God. It's not a man. It's not a man. It's feminine. Feminine. Nine is the completion. It's all in your face. And they've been doing all this to hide it. Go watch Bobby Hemmett, how he talks about the beginning of time and how God is someone with Down syndrome. God is the last son that was made from the mother. And he had Down syndrome because he wanted to be like the mother so bad that he tore himself out of her womb and then wanted to pretend to be like her. And this God God, has Down syndrome. And so he said, the mother was like, this is why, because you needed to be humbled. And no, the God didn't have superpowers like the rest of the sisters and brothers, the rest of the nine angels, the nine creators. Well, there was only one creator, but she had counter partners. And God was the last one made. Her children, out of her children, God was the last one made. And he had Down syndrome. And so he was very low vibrational. He couldn't do anything in the heavens. He was so low vibrational. And so when he got to earth, the mother was like, since you want to be so important, joking, since you want to be so important, why don't you make why don't you go make humans and make them worship you? And that's exactly what he did. She was joking, but he went behind her back and did it all. He created the humans. But then the mother came back and said, if they find me, then they dominate you. And you don't get to do nothing about it. Okay? And that's what Bobby Hemmett said. That was in the older African scripts. And I believe that story because it's in our consciousness. It ain't got nothing to do with no Bible. It's in our consciousness. It's how our minds work too. As within, so without. When y'all say that, what are y'all meaning? Do y'all really have meaning to anything in y'all lives? If you do, you would connect the dots. That God is below all of us. God is the low vibration. God is the Masons. And it wants to pretend, but the Bible says God is coming back. But guess who God is? They were just disguising stuff in that Bible. But guess who Creator really is? And she don't play. She don't play. So yeah, I just wanted to share this, and I appreciate you guys for watching. Um, it's a beautiful message, and when you can actually put the pieces together, you can actually live in the true essence of that which you're here for. You can live to be, live in bliss and harmony. So, thank you guys for watching, and have a dope day. Peace.